In this video, we're going to do a Charlie Brown Christmas Time Is Here piano tutorial. If you're not familiar with Christmas Time Is Here, it's basically the part in the Charlie Brown Christmas special where Charlie Brown brings the tree that is kind of all like wilted and turned over, and they turn it into this beautiful piece of art, and then they all stand around and sing Christmas Time Is Here, which is essentially... And in this video, I'm going to walk you through the entire piece of sheet music. We're going to talk about the chords and some fingerings and other things you need to be aware of. I'm going to post a link to the sheet music below. And also there's going to be a backing track. So the backing track, you can practice along with that. It's bass and drums, and have some fun with that. Let's dive in right now and deal with the first 4 bars of Christmas Time Is Here, which is this lovely 2-bar pattern repeated for an F major 9 chord and a C 13 flat 9 chord. So the first one is fairly simple. You roll this chord, that's essentially what those squiggles mean. And it's just root in the bass and then 3, 5, 7, and 9 in the right hand. And then you want to play these 2 notes on top. This one is 8 VA. In other words, it's up an octave. So it's... and you just roll that with your fingers. You have to kind of play these 2 notes as not specifically 8th notes, but they're sort of dotted 8th notes triplet feel. So it's like, it's just an interesting feel. So, and you have to roll all of these chords as well. This one as well, and this one. So the C 13 flat 9 chord is the 7th, the flat 9, and then the 3rd and the 13th. Really nice sounding chord. And that is pretty much it for the intro. Just repeat it. And it does take a little bit of getting used to, because it doesn't fall under the fingers as easily as you might think, because you're playing down here and then you're jumping up here. So you kind of have to run it through a few times. And just make sure that you're putting the pedal down. It kind of makes it easier for you to get that sound you're looking for. And then on the next page, or the next line, it jumps right into the melody, which is this. And continues on. So let's take a look at these chords one by one. Essentially what you have here is 1 major 7, and then this is flat 7. 9 chord. So F major 7 to E flat. So with this sort of A natural, which is part of the 9, sharp 11, and 13. So I think of that like F over E flat. That might be the easiest way to think about it. So you can see that triad up here. And that goes for any sharp 11 chord. For example, if we're doing C7 sharp 11, this is a straight C7 chord. Then sharp 11 is like D over C. Same thing for the E flat chord that we're talking about now. Okay? And then what comes next is this really interesting pattern that starts on this B minor 7 flat 5 chord, which is essentially the flat 5 of F major. And you're just going down in half steps. So from B to B flat, to A flat, G, and then C and back to F. So you might just look at that and just play the notes, but it's better to think of it in terms of jazz. So what are those chords? Well, it's 1 and 7 of B minor 7 flat 5 in the left hand. And then it's 3 and 5 in the right. Sorry, 3 and 7 in the right. But what the lower finger of the right hand, which is the second finger, it just follows the bass notes down. And it's only the melody that changes. So it's continued on the next line. And again, you're going to have to play that through a few times because it's not obvious the way the fingers move. I like to use 1 and 5 in the left hand and 2 and 5 in the right hand in terms of fingerings. And this is one of my favorite chords in the whole piece, is this G half diminished 7th chord, or G minor 7 flat 5 over C. Remember, G half diminished 7th and G minor 7 flat 5 are the same chord. It's just a different way of talking about it. And half diminished meaning the first part of the chord is diminished, and then the second part of the chord is a major third. That's why it's called half diminished. So that sometimes you could write that as a C7 flat 9 chord, but not so much because it doesn't include an E natural. So if it had an E natural, not an E sharp, E natural, it would be a C7 flat 9 chord, but it's just a G half diminished 7th over C. Okay, the interesting thing about minor 7 flat 5 or half diminished chords is that if you take them from the scale they came from, it's essentially the 7th note of the scale. So which scale? We're talking about the A flat scale. So when you get to the G, that's your 7th, and then you just 3, 5, and 7 of the key of A flat. So that's B flat, D flat, and F natural. Okay? So let's play the whole thing through from the top, and I'll see if I can follow it through using the piece of music. This is the one we want here. Okay, just a really lovely piece. In the next video, we're going to talk about the bridge and all the things that we can get into trouble with there. The other thing that I wanted to say about this that I missed the first time around is that if you take a look at the first chord here, when the melody starts, you've got these tenths in the left hand. Obviously, you're going to play them with 5 and 1 fingers, but it's a stretch. And then when you get to the E flat, it's a tenth as well, but very hard to play. So you might want to roll that one. Even for me, with my hands, I can't reach it. Okay. Let me give you a hint as to what we're going to do in the next video because it's kind of interesting. When we get to the bridge, you're going to be playing these two chords, which is a D flat major 7th chord, and then a G flat 9 with a sharp 11. Let me catch that one right. Okay, and then it goes on to play this pattern, which is really interesting. So what you have here is 3 minor 7 to 6, 7 to 2 minor 7 to 5, 7. So then what are these notes or these chords? These are passing chords that make it truly interesting. And that's what I love about Vince Guaraldi's work. He finds interesting ways of putting in extra chords, which makes it sound more like jazz. So that's it for this video. You can look forward to the next one, which talks about the bridge and other things that we can get ourselves into trouble with. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. We're getting really close to 1,000 subscribers now. I think today we got to 976 or 78 or something like that. Anyway, getting really, really close. Lots of great things can happen when we hit 1,000 subscribers. So please go ahead and subscribe because we're making videos like this pretty much 5 days a week. So we have that to look forward to. Thanks so much for your time and Merry Christmas.